It is Saturday. Saturday night. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be right. Gonna be alright, my baby. And it's been a good day. This morning when the alarm went off at 6:15, I went, "It is Saturday. Why am I getting up at this point in time?" But the truth is, I'm marked myself a goal at the beginning of the month to finish 10 speeches in my competent communicator for Toastmasters, because the deadline to have that done is June 30th. And it is the last time that you can ever do one of those. So it's the old education program. They brought a new education program in. And after 2 years of following that, my intention was just to finish one last time, just for the heck of it. So this morning, that meant getting up at 6:15, getting in the shower, and being ready for a meeting where I was going to Zoom from my living room, thankfully, but to Mexico City. And I know that I've been talking about that over the last couple of days, but it's so cool to all of the sudden travel such a far place and such a far distance without actually going anywhere. There's something to that, right? You know those business meetings that everybody's traveling around the world for? I'm wondering if they could just be a Zoom meeting or online, live and in person, online. And or we meet here, you meet there, we collectively get together, something. There definitely is something to this online presence that we're seeing right now, and all of the online meetings and people, literally strategizing about how they're going to do things, being that the world is abnormal at the moment and has been for the last 4 months. So there I was in Mexico City with 25 other people in this club, on the screen, live and vivacious and alive. And I mean, it's 9 o'clock in the morning by the time it's 7 here. So they're alive and well and have been up for several hours. It was early for me, but then all of a sudden there was 2 guests from India. And how cool is that? That all of a sudden I'm their guest speaker today, and I'm now speaking to someone in India. So cool. Amazing, because the likelihood that I would ever meet this person is next to none. It is likely that I would never, out of the billions of people that I would come across, probably likely never be in India, likely never be at this meeting. And the note that I got afterwards about how inspiring my speech was, and how it touched them, and how it made them think and feel, and that ultimately is the goal, right? So, Toastmasters is, of course, not all the be all and end all of everything, but for me, it's an outlet to plug into so that I get to increase my ability to speak and have my impact ripple out. And so, similar to, me coming and talking here and hoping that some people are available to watch it, and that somebody's impacted maybe in some way by something that I say, tweaks a little thought in their mind, maybe shifts a little context that they've been looking at the world through, maybe gives them some insight as to how they're feeling or why. And potentially that's how we create change, right? That ripple effect of I touch, I put myself out there, it touches somebody, you bring that into your life, you incorporate that somehow in your life, you make a change with somebody else. It's all connected and interconnected, and that is the most amazing part. And I feel so blessed to have been, able to fulfill a goal of mine, reach out and meet other people that I wouldn't normally meet, stretch my comfort zone by speaking, on vulnerable subject matter, and inspiring others by what I'm doing and sharing, and that the way that I'm sharing it. So that to me all adds up to practice, practice, practice. And I'd rather have progress in life than perfection, because perfection is one of those illusion things. And for all you perfectionists out there, or recovering perfectionists, it is an illusion. It is something that will never be obtained, because as soon as I obtain what I thought was supposed to be perfection, I find fault in it. And all of a sudden I'm off on that tangent of nothing is ever going to be good enough, or nothing's ever going to be perfect. And you're right when you say that, when I say that. It is true. I will never be perfect, but I am in the process of making progress. And that to me matters. So today, when given the opportunity, I felt similar to the other night. I could feel myself all of a sudden getting irritated. It was like the day had drummed on and on and on and on. And all of a sudden there was this crunchy feeling inside. And instead of taking that and, spitting it on other people, mostly my boyfriend at that point in time, because he's the only one around tonight, I decided to be more responsible and act responsibly and say, hey, this is what's going on for me. This is the unraveling of that. And instead of going to this really kind of negative, crunchy, distant place, I'd like to be close with you this evening. Could you just listen to what it is that I'm saying so that, so that I can get the stuff that I'm feeling out? Are you available for that? And when I ask permission, all of the sudden there's a level of openness that wasn't there if I just sort of guns a blazing. And how often, we tend to do that reaction thing when something's not quite right, or we're either triggered or there's something up and we're not in touch with it. And it becomes that undercurrent that I talked about yesterday. And ultimately, it is my responsibility to be responsible for my emotions, my actions, my thoughts, my feelings, all of those things. And not always, sometimes easier said than done. And ultimately, that's like anything in life. And today I was reading a book and, talking about the dichotomy of life. Like, we would not know love if we didn't know the strong opposite of that. And, some people say it's hate, but anything on that spectrum of anything less than love, right? But light and darkness, what we deem as right and wrong, what we see as, that contrast that happens in life, the dichotomy that is alive and well in life. And without the dichotomy, without the polarization, without those two completely opposite ends of the spectrum and everything in between, we wouldn't have the ability to see this without the contrast of this, because then this would be the only thing that we would see, and we wouldn't see any of these varying degrees. And I think, what I experience on the internet these days is people being at absolute war about literally everything and anything. And it's mind-boggling to me, and sometimes I have to catch my breath, and some of it is extremely righteous and valid. But the problem is that if we keep just, fighting and fighting and fighting and the crunchy stuff, we never become aware what's going on underneath and maybe talk about it from a different point of view. I'm not saying don't talk about it. I'm not saying be silent. I'm not saying, anything other than there has to be other ways to do things other than name calling, belittling, undermining, nastiness. It to me defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to create more of in the world, which is peace. But I ultimately understand that without that inside of me, without that, really alive and well and flourishing inside of me, when I keep going back to that automatic knee-jerk reaction of, crunchiness, unkindness, curt, being edgy, being irritated, feeling irritated, and it's all a choice. And so getting clear that, what do I want to experience? More joy, more care, more consideration, more kindness. So ultimately, that's my job. That's your job. It's our job to figure that stuff out and really try and understand ourselves so that what we're doing in the world can make a difference, so that we're conscious of those things. And it's an efforted thing, but it is all about progress and not perfection. So I hope you're on this journey of progress with me. Whatever part of the process you're in today, be there and honor it. If you're tied up in knots, just realize it and start to try and undo that stuff. If you're over the moon excited about whatever is going on in your life, or anything in between those two things, somewhere on the spectrum is where you're at in any given moment in time with any of these things. And where you're at is okay, as long as you're recognizing that you don't have to stay wherever it is for any length of time, that you get to choose over and over and over and over again. Please be kind to one another. Please be kind to yourself. Please know that I send love, so much love from my heart out to the world every day. Mm-hmm. I so appreciate being here with you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you tomorrow.